Ibrahim Magu spends night in police custody as plot to remove him thickens. The embattled acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crime Commission (EFCC), Ibrahim Magu, spent the night in police custody on the orders of a presidential panel probing alleged infractions against him. Premium Times reported how Mr. Magu was arrested in front of the EFCC office in Abuja by security officials on Monday. He was taken to the Presidential Villa Abuja, where he appeared before a presidential panel investigating alleged corruption and insubordination. The allegation of insubordination and relooting of recovered funds were leveled against him by the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami. In separate statement Monday, the SSS denied arresting the anti-graft chief, while the EFCC said Mr. Magu was only invited for questioning. Similarly, the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption has also described Mr. Magu as a victim of power play in the presidency. Security and family sources informed Premium Times Mr. Magu was not allowed to go back home because the panel ordered his detention. The EFCC official was grilled for several hours by members of the panel in the presence of an EFCC counsel, Rotimi Oyedepo. When the panel rose for the day, it decided to send Mr. Magu to Area 10 headquarters of the police. Sources said he spent the night at the police headquarters. This newspaper learned that several options of sanctions against Mr. Magu were being weighed pending the approval of President Muhammadu Buhari. They are planning to take him to court. Premium Times was told on Monday afternoon by a source who asked not to be named because he lacked the authority to speak officially. Another source at the presidency said there is a lobby group advocating for a soft landing for Mr. Magu, a police commissioner. According to this power block, disgracing Mr. Magu will leave a dent on the EFCC and the government's fight against corruption. The source said, "You cannot claim successes in the fight against corruption and turn around to say the man leading the war is a corrupt, immoral person. That is part of the argument of Mr. Magu's sympathizers," said the source late on Monday. Multiple sources have also said the ongoing investigations into the activities of the EFCC is majorly a battle between the AGF and the EFCC boss. The alleged originating Malami memo up to the current arrest seems an outcome of power play by power blocks in the corridors of power, in which Malami appears to be an arrowhead or major agent of a power bloc that is not really interested in or in support of Buhari's anti-corruption fight. Femi Adekunle, a member of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption (PACAC), wrote in a statement Monday night. Other sources who asked not to be mentioned accused the AGF of using insiders at the commission to sponsor media attacks against Mr. Magu. Meanwhile, Premier Times is yet to independently verify these allegations. However, Mr. Malami has never been in support of Mr. Magu for the EFCC top job. Both men have constantly played a cat and mouse game despite holding sensitive roles in the Buhari administration, especially in the fight against corruption. Mr. Magu, who was appointed acting chief of the anti-graft agency in 2015 by President Muhammadu Buhari, was rejected twice by the 8th Assembly under the leadership of former Senate President Bukola Saraki. This was after the SSS, allegedly in collaboration with Mr. Malami, said the nominee lacked the integrity to lead the country's anti-corruption agency. The presidency has balked at rescinding Mr. Magu's name for screening since then. Well, that is serious. Nobody is above the law, and at the same time, I think a lot of people are trying to use this medium to uplift themselves as someone who has integrity, that if the EFCC boss, even if it's the acting chairman or acting director of EFCC, if the chairman of the EFCC himself can be corrupt, according to what people are saying right now, then they were like, the President Muhammadu Buhari deserves some accolades, meaning they are trying to tell us that the president has integrity. Well, a lot of people had gone against that before now, but meanwhile, a lot have been said so far. But according to the situation right now, it was said that the embattled acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, Ibrahim Magu, spent nights in police custody on the orders of a presidential panel probing alleged infractions against him. Wow. He has spent night. I pray will not spend another night. Well, that is Nigerian politics for you. And I know that a lot of people are looking for ways to bring this man down. Well, alleged discrepancies in the reconciliation records of the EFCC and the Financial Ministry of Finance on recovered funds declaration of 539 billion naira as recovered funds instead of 504 billion naira earlier claimed, well, insubordination of the office of the AGF, not providing enough evidences for the extradition of Desiani Halison Madueke, alleged late action on the investigation of P&ID leading to legal dispute, well, not respecting court order to unfreeze a 7 billion naira judgment in favor of a former executive director of a bank, alleged delay in acting on 2 vessels seized by Navy, alleged favoring of some investigators called Magu boys, while reporting some judges to their presiding officers without deferring to the AGF, alleged sale of seized assets to cronies, associates, and friends, alleged issuance of investigative activities to some media prejudicial to some cases. Well, I think 4 hours on Monday, Ibrahim Magu testified before a panel looking into allegations leveled against him by Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami San. The panel is headed by Justice Isa Ayo Salami and retired President of the Court of Appeal. Magu was detained last night anyway after being quizzed by the panel. Well, he was whisked away from the presidential villa where he was interrogated to the Force Criminal Investigation Department FCID at about 10:15 p.m. shortly after the investigative panel ended its sitting. Well, his escort mobile policemen and security detail were stood down before he was taken into custody. It was learned that shortly after emerging from the sitting, Magu was led into a waiting while Hilux van marked 371D. Magu insisted on sitting in the open space at the back of the Hilux. You can imagine such an embarrassment. Well, the police team persuaded him to sit in the first cabin. The ding-ding over his relocation to the FCID lasted about 25 minutes. Meanwhile, Magu was later allowed to go to the FCID in his official car. Well, a source said in the light of the ongoing investigation, it became expedient to detain Magu at the FCID. We do not want him to return to the office while he is being questioned because he is likely to have another session with the Justice Salami panel. This is serious. Well, it was also learned last night that Magu might be suspended from office. That's serious. But not allowing him to go back to his office was an indication that he might be suspended. Well, it is obvious that the presidency has concluded plans to look for a new candidate for the office. Well, the source said at the FCID around 10:50 p.m., Magu rejected an offer to take him into an office to stay the night. Well, he told the officers in charge to treat him like a suspect by putting him in a cell. That is serious. This is getting serious. Well, sitting in a chair, he said, "I won't go and sleep in any office. I prefer to be in a cell. Kindly put me in a cell. That is what Allah wants for me. I can't question God. I can't question God," he said. Well, that is it. A lot of things will definitely happen, will definitely go wrong as far as your hands are not clean. Well, you need to make sure you stand upright. Always try to stand upright no matter what, so that you'll be able to defend yourself and you'll be able to stand your ground with the situation of things. If you listened attentively, you will notice that this man, Ibrahim Magu, had some skeleton in his cupboard because he is not able to stand his ground, and as you can see, the ground in which he's standing is shaky. Wow. May the good Lord continue to help us in this country. I pray that it will be vindicated. Well, the thing is, just try your best to be straightforward in every position you find yourself, because you don't know who is watching, and that is it. This is a lesson for all. Well, meanwhile, let me have more takes from you, and remember to subscribe for more updates. Thanks and God bless.